Let's go, let's go, let's go. Welcome aboard. This is the Sunspot. Don't make a sun. Here we go. Welcome aboard and all welcome. This is volume 2 of Thug Life, the hate you give little infants. F-U-C-K's everybody. Volume 2, that money. You know, we're just going to go through a couple of facts, you know, and maybe I'll open up to a live stream another time. But this is just to lay the groundwork on the happenings of the Gen Zers and the millennials and the Gen Xers and the disparity between, you know, the income that they receive as well as what will be left for retirement and saving. But more importantly, how the next generation will have to combat the complications and the nuances that have been put into effect as of recent. So let's go. Yes, welcome aboard. Here we go once again. You know, there's certain things I like about how I work this. When I get a big enough board, I'm gonna definitely throw some amazing sound effects. But there's a recording right now of the Sunspot and Thug Life Volume 2. You know, and the hate, I want to specify what I mean by hate. It's not necessarily, you know, an angst and a grievance, just a rage toward the youth. But it's a form of neglect or just this misery when it comes to other groups and passing what's substantial down. And it's not always a monetary thing. Let's get that fortified, that mostly it's the example. You know, if you set a model a certain way and people see success in that model, chances are they're going to use that model of success for the next ventures because somebody made off with it. And what we've seen as of recently are these immoral models or models of, you know, some of the worst character. You know, some of the most corrupt things have happened. And it also has carved a way for people to be even more rebellious, to say, I'm going to get this by any means necessary because it's not promised. And this is where we are right now. It becomes a vicious cycle, and we have to address it, because if we don't address it properly, you know, and this is not to take away from all the productive, you know, happy and good spirited youth out there that's willing to, you know, meet everything where it is and challenge it. There's some amazing youth out here. You need to clap it up for the amazing youth out here. Some of them just graduated. Let me get my soundboard together. Amazing youth out here. Leaps and bounds. They're getting things done and being very innovative, and, you know, they know their path. They know what they're up against as well, which is very important, especially as we go into these new times where, you know, it's just so much uncertainty. You know, in a way, each group has been set up in a way. And you're going to see how the Gen X's were set up, because I myself, Gen Xer, and let's get to the numbers so you can understand. Not at this one. I want to make sure that I get to the right numbers so you can see. And we're going to go through it. All right. Let me share my screen very quickly. Which one is it? Bam. From the PewDie The Pew Research, right? Now I want you to look to where it says the generations defined. Okay, you got the silent generation from 1928 to 1945. Hope my screen is sharing properly. Let's see. Okay, we good. Then you have the baby boomers. Let me go back real quick so you can definitely get a glimpse. Okay. Then you have the baby boomers, 1946 to 1964. Okay, and the age, and this is from 2020. So you speed it up another 4 years. Add another 4 years to these. So it says 56 to 74. It's now 60 to 78. Okay, so you can stay with me. Then you have Generation X, 1965 to 1980. Right. So now it's 45 to 60, to 59. 4 years up. 44 to 59. All right. Then you have millennials at 1981 to 1996. Okay. 28 to 43. And you have Generation Z born after 1996. Now, what was happening around that time? For the teenage years of Gen X, and people will talk about it when you have a conversation with them. They were being offered credit cards, and without the true education what consumer debt was. And this posed a new avenue of income, or not even income, but of a monetary system, a new phase of the monetary system, which had really no regulation at one point. And we didn't have the education to understand what it was. People knew what layaway was, right? You can get it now and you got to pay on it, pay later. And that's how, the plastics were on the furniture and what have you, right? You remember that? Definitely. It was grandmothers, aunts, stuff like that. So with that, we had a sense of knowing what to touch, what not to touch, what was really ours and what wasn't. People lived below their means, and there were people that wanted to keep up with the Joneses, and the keeping up with the Joneses became the motif of those that's willing to reach further than where they were. I mean, because we had little to nothing at one point, a lot of us, and then if you did have a silver spoon in your mouth, there's always the big leap. You think you have it really good until you see somebody that's really just out there. Now you got a swimming pool. Oh, you got the Olympic size swimming pool. Okay, let's see how you doing it. Yeah, you got the nice single family house. Oh, you got the 2-car garage. We got to step it up a little bit and add more hours to the workforce. Then you got the latchkey kids. That's us. Listen, don't let nobody in this house. Don't let nobody in this house until I come back home. And then you don't let nobody in the house. This is for you. This key is for you to get yourself in there, do your, take off your clothes, wash up, eat a little something and do your work. It was a sense of, you had to have this responsibility. Let's get back to the report, because I want you to understand where the writer was coming from, where the article was really reaching, and what we know about Gen Z so far. Let me share it. Unlike the millennials and all the kids playing outside, I love it. Unlike the millennials who came of age during the Great Recession, this new generation was in line to inherit a strong economy with the record low unemployment. That has all changed now as CVID has reshaped the country's social, political, I wouldn't just say the countries, I would say the world, to tell you the truth, economic landscape. Instead of looking ahead to a world of opportunities, Gen Z now peers into an uncertain future. This is according to the Pew Research article by Kim Parker and Ruth Igelnick. Here we go. I think I did good on that. Maybe not. Yeah, I'll do better with that one. But that's to get a gist of what was going on there. But let's go into the next one. What does Forbes say? Once I share it again. And I just want you to get a contrast of, of what's going on with this, because you're getting mixed messages as far as through entertainment. You're getting mixed messages through advertisements. You have all these different, we used to have, remember, the payday loans, and it went from the payday loans to now you have these apps that are willing to take your money out for you, and so most of them are, up to par. You use them accordingly, and but it's all about the transference of data. Data is king. That's what keeps these things afloat. Seeing the waves of massive layoffs in late 2022. Let's go to I always give credence to who came up. Jack Kelly, senior contributor of Forbes, right? Seeing the wave of massive layoffs in 2022 through the first half of 2023 has created feelings of distrust towards employers and job insecurity. Consequently, the EY data revealed that Generation Z's anxiety levels are at an all-time high. So the pressure to work more hours, to gain more money, to do more has, basically caused an angst and has given leverage to these young ones' mental health. They feel this extra pressure. The study captured insights from more than 1,500 participants across the United States, born between roughly 1997 and 2007, age 16 to 26-year-olds, to track Gen Z's personal and professional interests and the outlook on mental health, trust, technology, career, and lifestyle ambitions. Now, let's stop there, because what we're talking about is the hate, or rather the neglect, or the misinformation given to little infants. When we say infants, it's not just, don't think baby mindset and all that. It's just the younger ones, that's being passed down, these complications, these difficulties that if we really loved and cared for, we wouldn't put people through certain things. I mean, like, here we go. And it's not to put, a point of finger. You should want to have success and be very successful, and, definitely get your unfair share of wealth. But when you do it leveraging people's, viewpoints on life, where they gotta decide, what's good and what's bad, what's moral, what's immoral, and people are selling themselves, and you create an avenue where they can sell themselves more and be more confused. There's a problem with that. Most of the wealth built is due to a lack of self-esteem. You say, how do you say that? Well, the richest person in the world is Bernard Arnault, and great works and efforts through the Louis Vuitton company and the many companies that it own. But it's a status symbol to wear Louis Vuitton. It's not a function. You understand? What is the producing factor of wearing it, except to attract other people that may think you're the status? You understand? There's really no practicality in it, except to show the opulence and the luxury, of a quality brand. Like I said, don't get me wrong. If you got enough money to buy it, that's up to you. But there's no food in your refrigerator. Let me do this right. don't do don't do the wow enunciations. Yes, I am from the hood. Okay. If there's no food in the refrigerator and there's no savings and there's little to no leverage in your retirement funds, pension funds, and stuff like that, and you're buying this, this product, how does it benefit you? And we were sold no economic education, no financial literacy, and not just as a people, but as a whole generation across the board. And that's why you'll see a report like this, where 60% of Gen Xers don't really have a solid plan on what to do with their retirement, even if they think they're getting a retirement. They're called the sandwich group. Let's see if we can go into it. This is the hate. Well, not the hate. Oh, goodness. I'm sticking to the word, though. I'm sticking to the word. This is the disenfranchisement given to little infants in so many words. Let's go. Generation X worried. Here we go right here. Gen X is in their mid 40s to late 50s. So it makes sense that they're thinking and worrying about retirement. But that worry isn't new, says Ann Ackerley, a senior advisor on retirement with BlackRock. Okay, I got a video to show you real quick. We've been doing Read on Retirement for the last 9 years, Ackley said. Gen X is always less confident about whether they are on track or not. And I mentioned the sandwich group, the sandwich generation, caught in between caring for older parents and younger children. Okay, let's go a little bit higher. This is from Calais Wells in the marketplace. Okay. When it comes to retirement savings, Gen Z are doing better than their elders in a recent survey from the investment advisory firm BlackRock. Now, if you need to stop and Google, you stop and Google right now. And I want you to understand what wholesale lots are. Okay. More than 3/4 of them, 77%, say they're on track to retire and maintain their current lifestyle. Very good. Very good. Millennials and baby boomers are close behind at 72 and 68% respectively, but Gen Xers are in a distant last place. These are the ones that's working right now, senior, mid to senior management. Okay. Only 60% of them said they have enough retirement savings. Gen Xers were the heavy consumer body to keep the economy afloat, because they still have young habits and tastes, but still going into the upper ages. And, when you go into the upper ages, health becomes an issue, even though we do have medical advancements and innovations that have propelled the working age. I mean, you have some very healthy, 70-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 50-year-olds, which is a great thing, But let me see if I can give you this video real quick. I want you to understand what's going on here. Switch things up. Boom, boom, boom. All right. And I'm going to share this video of this young man breaking it down.
1970, the average home was $15,000. It is now $436,000. It has gone up 29 times. Rent was $108, is now $2,000. That's gone up 20 times. College was $500. It's now $11,000. That's gone up 20 times. Gas was 36 cents. It's now $3.80. That has gone up 10 to 12 times. But what about the income? In 1970, the average person was making $9,000. Today, they're making $56,000. That has only gone up 6 times compared to everything else. But this is where it gets sad. In 1970, the average household had 3.5 children. Today, it's only 1.9. And the crazy part is that back in 1970, the average household, 47% were dual income. It has now jumped to 65% is dual income. So millennials and Gen Zers under the household are putting in more hours than the boomers did. We're both working 40 hours a week. But you got way more bang for your buck and more children. You got to expand your family, own a house. Things are so drastically different. The birth rate is plummeting because people can't afford it. So we need to make a change so that we can turn this around.
Clap it up, Calvin. That was really, really sound. Clap it up. It's unfortunate too, because it shouldn't be like that, especially when you have this great amount of millionaires and billionaires, and even a trillionaire too. You know, you would think we'll pour some more into the youth services, strengthen the infrastructure, of course, as well as provide the basics and even advanced courses in financial literacy, home ownership, and other industries that are interlocked in growing and maintaining wealth. Or maybe the whole point of the plan is to keep majority poor and select few rich or wealthy. Or it's just, eat or be eaten, free enterprise and capitalism. I mean, that's been the mainstay and the core being of American politics, and this is where it gets really interesting, because now you have a new wave of voters that are ready to press the button for the candidate of their choice, the nominee of their choice, what have you, And this is a pivotal year, very pivotal, if you understand each candidate's platform. Not only their platform, but their behavior and their activity and behavior while in seats of power, which is going to be very key. You understand? What is the amount of money you're going to have to? Well, whoever has the platform that can better distribute the economics wisely, responsibly, okay, and change this unbalanced level that we see in a society where people want to come to work and feel proud about the dollar they make and don't have to go so many hours so hard away from their families, which is the fiber in the whole cause of people going to work and striving to be greater than what they are. The sense of family, remember the guy said it went from 3.5 to 1.9. Now the point, of course, it's the average. That's why they do it like that. But 3 kids to 1 child. Just think of it like that, because it's become too expensive. It's become too expensive, and now you're starting to see this in the relationship field. And we're going to cover that in the next one. There's going to be part 3, a little more, a little more broader, a little more funnier, definitely. You need that funny stuff. Come on now. Clap it up. Everyone needs that. We're going to have fun with it, but at the same time, at the root of the relationships have been income. has been income, and because that becomes the sore in the eye, that's all we see. But we also, forget about the non-tangibles that make us who we are as humans on planet, because we're social creatures and definitely need affection and nurturing. Definitely. That's how we get to the next levels. And families produce wealth. That still hasn't changed. So now you have the silent generation basically out. The baby boomers, their wealth is transferring to, let's go to it. Let me not play with you like that, no? Let me not play with you like that now. Go to the Pew Research. The silent generation, they're basically out. There's just, a few left. Honest to them. They did well. They had structure, worked with little to nothing. You did everything, had honor. I'm not going to take that away from them. But it was also a very sordid time. It was very rough. Then you have the baby boomers. Got the wealth transfer from the silent generation. Did very well. Can't deny that. Yeah. This was being known, and this is when business becomes big corporations. Okay, around this time, you're talking about from 1964 to 1980s. We're gonna do it like that. This is when that money started coming in very, very, very exorbitantly. Okay, and also the leisure activities increased. Because those are the weak times setting in from corrupt people. It was a wicked time for everything from politics to sports and entertainment to the D.R.U.G.L.I.F.E. You know what I mean? Very, very. What my man say? How you say it, homie? Say it for me. Nasty work. Again. Nasty work. Yeah, shout to Will's Mills. Shout to Will's Mills. You know what I mean? And then from there, Generation 6 learned how to be just consumers on fire. You got the credit cards, you're hustling to get this a material object, that material object to become the status symbol from where you are. You wasn't anything if you didn't have it on. You wasn't anything if you didn't drive in it. And it's not just one group of people. It was many groups of people. Many groups of people. They draw you into the consumerism till boom. Now, the income doesn't fit what was being consumed. You overconsume. Some people maxed out 3 or 4 credit cards before they got it right. Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness?
Boy, you like a stripper, tighten up.
Can I get a witness? Yeah, some people maxed out 3 or 4 credit cards. Many businesses failed several, 8, 15, 25, 30 times before they got it right. Yeah. But once you went on board, once you got things in effect and you had a model in the system, then, things started to move a little bit better. So the millennials, they basically riding off of that. We're talking about 1981, 1996. That's when they were born, right? Great years all the way up into the beginning of the millennium, the scare Y2K. You also had the Enron. It was getting very ugly out here. Very ugly. You're starting to see corruption in this ugly head rearing out. Not to mention hot politics, social issues. All these things come into effect, and they affect spending, and they affect how the youth sees what's going to go next in society. There are already signs. We're going to go into all right, and we're going to talk about Generation Z in a minute. There are already signs that the oldest Gen Zers have been particularly hard hit in the early weeks and months of the C virus crisis. In a March 2020 Pew Research Center survey, half of the oldest Gen Zers, aged 18 to 23, reported that they or someone in their household has lost a job, taken a cut in pay because of the outbreak. This has massive ripple effects that's still being, being addressed. Not saying it's solved yet. It's still being addressed. We still have this anxiety, this trauma, that's just trauma related. We go on like things are, business as usual until somebody coughs too loud, sneezes a little bit, has a fever, This was significantly higher than the shares of millennials, 40%, and the Gen Xers, 36%. When you say, why the Gen Xers? Because, we felt we've been through it all. Shouts to that. We felt we've been through it all. You know what I'm saying? You can go see at the Real Slim Sherry and her outlook on Gen X's outlook through her eyes is just like really funny stuff. But some of it is very informational and makes sense. And I don't big anybody up if they're not, producing some type of sense. I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And then the baby boom is 25% because there's not that many of them left. But who decides where this transfers of money, trickles down to? Who decides where that goes? Right? Scroll down a little bit more. We know it's different from previous generations in some important ways, but similar in many ways to the millennial generation that came before it. Members of Gen Z are more racially and ethnically diverse than any previous generation. That's why I think they'll get things solved quicker. More minds attached to goal setting and figuring out, what's the cause of all this and trying to get to a solution, more solution-based model than, Generation X, where we still have this tension. There's still tension, and it hasn't been resolved because groups of people feel that they've been treated unfairly, and they have. It's been proven. But those that do have power refuse to address it properly. They just like go over it. Oh, you'll get over it. It's gonna be all right. You've done well so far. And they are on track to be the most well-educated generation yet. They are also digital natives. What is a digital native? Who have little to no memory of the world as it existed before smartphones. Hence, the Mandela effect, which that's a whole that is a whole. Where is it? Where you at? The Mandela effect.
Damn, son.
That is a whole wormhole, rabbit hole, whatever hole you think. That is a whole thing that you got to look up for yourself. Okay? And here's digital natives. Let's go into what digital native is. Teen social media and technology, 2018. YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat are the most popular online platforms. 95% of teens have access to a smartphone. 45% say they're online almost constantly. So where's the digital native? That means you spend most of your time in these devices. Yeah. They say to use YouTube 85% of the time, Instagram 72% of the time, Snapchat 69% of the time, Facebook 51%. People figure that's an old school style. Are you still on Facebook? Oh, you wilding. No. That's cold-blooded. You can get a lot done on Facebook. Twitter, now renamed X, 32% of the time. Then you got Tumblr. I like Tumblr pretty good. It's basically like Pinterest, with a little more descriptions and, hashtags and stuff like that. All right. The shift in teen social media use is just one example of how technology landscape in young people has evolved since the center's last survey of teens and technology use in 2014 and 2015. And that's just to show you what a digital native is, which also changes. Go back, get up out of here. Which also changes the whole way of getting income. There's so many different digital apps. You can actually play games, become a game tester, essays, surveys. And when I got exposed to all these different ways, I'm like, yo, this is information overload, to tell you the truth. This is a lot of stuff. And you can grow your groups, grow your social groups, and upon the growth of your social group, get monetized from that. Now, there's also, a caveat when it comes to that, because you have to do what the community guidelines and the instructions of the app says. But as long as you're in those parameters, you can actually gain a good modicum of wealth. Now, how does that translate to, your retirement, your savings, your healthcare plans, and things of that nature? It depends on how savvy and how organized you are. All right. And because these things are not taught in school, they're usually going right back to Bernard. Shouts to that. They're going back to Bernard. Come on now. Yeah, man. They're going back to him. You can't blame them. I mean, there's different groups, of course. They're not just going to stick to that. There's so many different other fashion, outlets and, but just the impracticality. You still have a poor infrastructure. Is doing a little better than before, but it has, suffered greatly. We have a huge homelessness problem, right? Basically people, military conflicts all over the place, ideology wars, okay, through agendas and marketing and, self-aggrandizement and all this other stuff, complications and chaos. And then people found out they can make money from it and call it content. That's the nerve. But if it's a success model, people will follow it. And then that's the hate, the how-to that's counterproductive. The counterproductive how-to of the model. So you have a group like OF, where it's morally not practical to do. We know this. We know that, the mental effects and damage that can be created on all sides. But as long as somebody's going to get paid from it, it's somebody going to do it. Somebody going to put their on the line and do it. So it's up to us. It's up to all of us as a collective to get it together and bring love back into it. And when I say love, all right, it's not some weak stuff. Not some weak stuff. Get the explosion, man. Where you at? It's not weak. It's not weak at all. That love, that love is gonna do you right. It's gonna set order, because it has to come from a more strict place. Because I love you, this has to be set. it has to be done this way, and not an authoritarian style, but because we see the patterns of the bad actors and the poor examples. I want you to see that, not experience it, see it. And now it's time to grow from there. What are you giving? And me too. And when I point to you, I have 3 fingers pointing back to me. What are you giving to be have a better example, better chance to produce better results for the youth? And because I pointed over there, I got 3 more fingers. I got 3 times the responsibility to make that happen. And I know of this. And you know this, man. So, in order to get our relationships right, that responsibility, that accountability has to reflect through us and then channel it into the youth. So they got the resources. They'll get the riches. The wealth is going to be there. They can pull together to put $700 jeans on. I kid you not. They can pull it together for that. They could pull it together to put themselves in a program, create a program. Then they got to put themselves to a create a program for coding or something like that. Whatever trade they want to learn. Increase their level of mathematics. Learn this robotic stuff before the curve beats them. That's the whole thing. The technology curve is something extraordinary. Once it hits the corner and turn, it's a wrap. If you didn't know a little bit from the groundwork, it's a wrap. You're gonna be lost. Pushing 2 or 3 buttons. Wow, and that's another story too. People, there's a human evolving factor that's coming into place with a bone chip in the neck growing. It's extending a little bit longer because so many people have been bowing their heads into their phones. And then also the hand, carpal tunnel, okay, from holding the phone apparatus too much and typing at extended periods of time. This is not normal. Even I wear these because the glare, it's got the blue screen in them, so the computer glare is not so much on my eyes. But you definitely got to go outside and look at the sun. Look at some nature. Look at the green, the grass. This is very important to keep the balance in the life. And the social connections, this right here is good. It's a good means of communication. It's convenient, but it's not the same as seeing you eye to eye, person to person, heart to heart, smelling the air around us. I mean, hopefully, you're not kicking it hard. Hopefully, you're not blowing the place up. But that person to person, the vibrations we feel, the energy, transference is given off, and more dopamine levels and even more clarity to your thinking comes into play. This is why having an appointment with someone is more important than just sealing the deal on the phone. Things of that level. You open up differently, and because we became closed off in society and taught to be distant, we've also become less empathetic. Yeah. And that's another reason why a lot of that rage is carried out. You don't know how to treat people and talk to people. And again, I implore you to find out new ways to communicate that can include people into a better result. Solution-based thinking, solution-based reality. All right, because we're gonna have these differences. It'd be wise if we could talk through the differences without any disdain for each other and be smart about it. The first thing you see some people's comments is, they talking about somebody else, but they never, got to meet that person. It becomes so superficial. And it is a cover for insecurities. And that's the way to project upon people, because 8 out of 10 times they're scared to go in front of the camera. I'm just calling like I see it. I'm not the authority or the definitive voice. I am just the brother on planet Earth spotting the sun. This is the sunspot, ain't it? Let's get it going. This is the sunspot, right? Yeah. You go. Welcome to the sunspot. I'm just trying to let you know, okay? So, just like anything, I want you to hit the like button. Why don't you? Hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe. I would love for you to share, subscribe, tell somebody about it. Yo, I just heard some stuff about, economics and thug life, what that's about, and how the kids, got a disadvantage, but they also have the advantage and the leverage, and we can move forward. We can move forward with better relationships and getting to the money. What's going on, baby? Come on, Dad.
Oh no. Come on, man.
I'm getting to the money.
Money.
Yeah, so that's what happens when you donate. I'm going to play that, a couple of other things, and it's time for me to boogie. I'd like to thank you for listening, and see some of the previous videos if you can, and we're going to get back into the flow of things. That's the one thing where I was basically prepping myself to do, get back into the flow of things so you can have enjoyment, enlightenment, some information, and some good hard truths, and we can share those that journey right there. Okay, I'm True Omega Sun. This is the Sunspot. Sun Seas, 7 Seas is how we do it. Let's go.